Greg has worked with us in the past, recently actually, with some new technology, and the reason I want to have him come up is to give a perspective on news technology and where it's come from and kind of where it is at now and where it's going. You guys watch the news, I'm sure everybody locally at one point or another, and while things kind of seem the same, the technology behind the scenes has really evolved, especially in the last 10 or 15 years. We've seen some huge leaps. I mean,
Right.
I got a great tour of the station, as you guys may or may not know. You've moved downtown.
Right, from Dexter, as I think was well heralded. It's a hole in the ground right now.
If you walk out of Safeco Field,
We're
and
kitty corner.
kitty corner right there is the newsroom. Right. So just, I guess start us off with where you started and kind of the technology and what you saw in broadcasting and bring us forward if you could.
There's probably not a lot of new news. As everybody knows, things have changed a lot. The neat thing about the new buildings, we're all digital, and we're actually getting, kind of made the transition. It kind of was a forced transition to get rid of everything that we had that was analog, and which is fun because even when we talk to CenturyLink about bringing in some audio for the New Year's Eve show, there's going to bring analog audio lines into us, and it's like, okay, we'll have to figure out how to make that plug in. We used to be able to plug that in. But things have changed quite a bit, and probably the things you most are aware of are the fact that we've gone to a much more automated infrastructure, and that's not just new. We've had robotic cameras even at our Dexter building. We had graphic systems and whatnot. Just before we moved, we went to a Sony ELC automation system, which interfacing with our newsroom computer system. We use an AP EMPS system. Codes are embedded in there, which of course drive our graphics, drive our video, Sony video server system, and our, of course, the switcher as well. So that all transferred down to the nice thing was we basically built a second TV station down at Home Plate Center. So we have two control rooms identical to each other. The beautiful thing is that it is all new and it all is uniform as opposed to a lot of add-on pieces that we were doing. It is all driven. The control rooms are smaller, but it allows us to be a little more streamlined, and most of the resources we put into, of course, our big strength is that we have a wonderful content gathering organization. So getting the content is where a lot of the energy has gone, and getting it produced and on the air. We have so many more platforms being a nice little generic term that everybody tends to use, that thinks everybody understands what we mean by screens and platforms and all that. Our big push right now is we've got a lot of places to put things, and we're being driven to streams and whatnot. So we're on TV, we have nearly 12 hours a day worth of news, but we are really investing heavily into trying to get streams out. Yeah. And we've actually added what you would consider a third control room, being the TriCaster we have, and used to be known as, for some of you in town here, know Jimmy Cam, when we had Jim Foreman and just was there. Now we have, we're expanding the use of our TriCaster quite a bit. And that's had its challenges too, not the TriCaster.
No, understood.
but the
the
people using
it. Yeah. Well, I guess traditionally when you think about a newsroom, back in the day, it was this giant room with these crusty old camera guys and engineers, and the headsets and 3 or 4 fixed cameras, and that was it. And it was a big fixed production. But going through your facility now, you do have that home plate newsroom, but it's also reversible now, so you can face the glass at one time a day. You can spin the studio around, face it a different way at another time of day. But you have flash studios as well. You had something on the second floor plus the TriCaster. Talk about just how technology has allowed you guys to decentralize and
that's
and
what
expand.
We're doing. Yeah, exactly. We have obviously the main news studio, and we're using a number of cameras in there, and we've actually now got a Steadicam is also now working in there as well to give it a little more motion and feeling. I think most of you that watch. You can watch ESPN, Sports Center. You can watch just about any show. The camera movement seems to be to liven things up. Obviously, it's a nice thing. But we've incorporated that. But we also have we have on the second floor. We actually have 2 different small presentation areas. One's almost a full news set of itself. Flash cam. We use a roof position. But we also get out. One of the big things is we get out in the field a lot. And I think actually we're just taking a look at some video here of one of our main. Get out in the field and do a production thing. We like to get out of the studio as much as we like being in the studio. This was actually a multi-camera shoot that we do up routinely now on big game days because with the Seahawks, there's a lot of big game days, opening days and Sunday Night Football and whatnot. So this is.
So yeah, tell us about this production. This is actually done with a TriCaster, right? This is on the roof of a garage across the street from the stadium. This isn't keyed. This is actually up on the roof.
Yeah, this is, and we do 4.5 hours of morning news. This was actually up on the terrace of the Stadium Place building.
Okay.
And it's very nice. We set the TriCaster up, cameras, and basically use one path of satellite to go back back to the stadium. And of course, integrate everything else. We have to do our comms and our IFB. What's changed? We don't use production trucks in even
multi-million-dollar production trucks are a thing of the past.
Exactly, and even when we go out and do our Seahawks, I've been involved in the Seahawks. I'm the production manager for our Seahawks postgame show. We don't even use our dual pass satellite trucks anymore. We're doing everything on a lot of our shows now on IP video coming back.